Now, the appropriation number 2 bill and the finance bill, they are, already moved, and VP Singh Badnore was already speaking. At that time, I adjourned the House. But kindly note the time allotted is now 3 hours only. Therefore, every party's time is curtailed to that extent, and the chair will be very strict regarding time. You manage your speech within the allotted time. I will announce the time allotted to each member when they start. Now, VP Singh Badnore, how many minutes he has taken? VP Singh Badnore, पहले कितना लिया?
Sir, how much time am I getting?
No, पहले कितना लिया? You.
And there was lot of disturbance.
You can take 10
There
minutes.
was lot of disturbance
You can
when
take,
I was
yes.
speaking yesterday.
Therefore, you may take 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, your minister is agreeing to that. 10 minutes.
Sir, I am the opening speaker. Sir, I do not wish to repeat what I had said yesterday. But as there was a lot of din, I think I have to give a little gist of what I said yesterday because everybody could not hear what I was saying. So I stand to support the Finance Bill 2016 and the Appropriation Bill number 2, 2016. Let me start by saying that we have the budget pronouncement, and then we have the annual budget discussion on it, and then we have a recess where in the ministries and the demands are discussed in the standing committee. We have today come to the last stage of the budget, that is the finance bill. No one can deny that there was a distinct slowdown in our growth story in the last 2-3 years of the UPA government, and which was hovering around 6%. There were various reasons, not just external, but internal as well, like the 2G, 3G, coal, Commonwealth, games and other scams. But let me at this stage not enumerate them. Whatsoever, instead, I need to commend our Honorable Prime Minister and the Finance Minister that it was their new initiatives that we have today the fastest GDP growth in the world, which is 7.5%, beating China, which this year has said has 6.9%. In the 21st century, no country can survive in seclusion and not be dependent in some way or another to other countries. Therefore, today's volatility in the global economy is of prime concern. While the GDP is, world GDP is 3.5%, ours is more than double, 7.6%. On one count, we have been very lucky with the oil prices, but our monsoon failed us, and because of the rainfall average being low, it impacted our agriculture, and therefore it impacted the GDP as well. Let me dwell on the subject of our present position in the world economy. China is the world's third largest economy behind US and the EU, which is 28 countries together, and China has 10.3 trillion US dollars, while India is still at 2 trillion. China's slowdown to 6.9% has come after 25 years, and they had sustained 9 to 10% for last 25 years. So India's GDP is today the fastest at 7.6%, but at 2 trillion, we are far behind the advanced countries, China, And to keep up or get to the levels of the advanced country, we'll have to really sustain this GDP growth for a long, long time. Going down the memory lane, let's see where we faltered these many years. Because as everybody knows, that the countries which have become advanced, they went through the World War II, and coming out of the scars of the Second World War, they still galloped and went away, and we were left where we are. And if we see that, in the 50s to 80, 1950 to 80, India had a growth of only 3 to 3.5% GDP. From 1980 to 2010, we had a growth of 6 to 6.5% GDP. If GDP is over 8 to 9%, then our capital per capita will increase by about 7.5%. That would double in 10 years, and that's the arithmetic. As I said, we learn from history. And let's see where we went wrong. It's no secret that over the years, for 37 years after independence, out of the 42 years, Congress was at the helm of affairs. And it is also no secret that the economists, the world over, call that regime Asia's great economic flops. In contrast, neither of the 1991 India's reform heroes, P.V. Narasimha Rao and Atal Bihari Vajpayee, belonged not to that famous dynasty of what they call that. That's why I say that these heroes were dismantling the economic pillars of the Nehruvian era and also the Soviet-style planning. Famous classical liberals like the B.R. Sinoy and future Nobel laureate Milton Friedman raised early alarms about India's chosen path, but the conventional wisdom of the time went unheeded. In normal political system, Congress would have elevated. Congress would have. I'm not bothered. Please. I'm not bothered.
Call.
So in normal political system, Congress would have elevated.
Finance.
They are coming, sir.
MOS Finance should come, at least. Where is Ajay Singh?
This is a very important. This is a very important bill.
MOS. Get a
The whole government
call the
of
MOS Finance.
Uttarakhand, you toppled on
MOS
the
Finance.
appropriation bill, and now you are discussing
Sir, it's
the
not
appropriation
bothering me,
bill of
sir.
the entire country in the
Sir,
parliament.
It
and
doesn't
no
bother
minister
me.
is available.
It's not bothering me.
No.
The house till one of them comes here. You adjourn the house till one of them comes.
हम कैबिनेट की बात नहीं करते, एमओएस तो होना चाहिए था.
MOS. MOS. Yeah. Okay. MOS has come. That's okay. See,
In the normal
MOS
political system, Congress would have elevated
if FM is
P.V.
not here, you should be
Narasimha
here.
Rao to sainthood, and
And Jara Ramesh is sitting on the other side. Be careful.
Only when our speaker was on.
in normal political system, Congress would have elevated P.V. Narasimha Rao to sainthood and quietly banished the discredited first family, but they didn't do so. Sadly, it seems there's a legacy of their time still exists today. And that's how we see that even in this house, they are not ready to pass the reform bills, the GST bills. And I feel that that still echoes in this house. For instance, and it's really paradoxical to say that Shri Manmohan Singh ji, under P.V. Narasimha Rao, and then later in the UPA 1 and 2.
You have taken 9 minutes, remember.
Sir.
What do I do?
Sir, let me carry on at least.
No.
And there is no comparison. Sir, I started it.
What do I do?
But there is only one speaker and he's giving
No,
me a little time. He's giving me a little
he will
time.
withdraw?
No.
You don't speak?
He'll,
No, that your party has told me.
sir, he'll speak for 5 minutes. So
Your party has allotted 10 minutes. Okay, you two take 2-3 minutes more.
average. Thank you.
Boli,
Everybody is.
Boli.
Sir, it is a fact that a well-known New York University professor, William Easterly, details in The Tyranny of Experts and puts it took decades to discredit the statist development model of Gunnar Myrdal and Arthur Lewis. Indians were not alone in suffering. Millions of Africans, Latin Americans, and many kept them company. Getting back to the present times and the budget in hand, the high point of the budget, and I need to commend the Honorable Prime Minister and Finance Minister in adhering to the roadmap of fiscal consolidation by fixing the fiscal deficit at 3.5% of the GDP and containing the inflation. It is of significance to state that the 9 pillars flagged by the FM is in the right direction to transform India. And I will say, number 1, agriculture and farms welfare. I'll go fast because I was wanting to explain all that. Rural sector, healthcare, education skills, and job creation infrastructure. 6th is financial sector reforms to bring transparency and stability, governance and ease of doing business, and boost opportunities, fiscal discipline, and tax reforms to reduce compliance of burden. So let me add here that the United Nations organization and 74 countries have endorsed the view that instead of GDP, and this is very important, as an index of economic growth, GNH may be a better and a richer objective. What is called the GNH is gross national happiness. And that should be the new measure, and UNO has agreed to it. Even 74 countries have endorsed it. And if you look at the 9 pillars put forth in this year's budget, much stress has been put on the well-being and happiness, be it opportunities, farmers' welfare, ease of doing business, health insurance schemes, Atal Pension Yojana, education, targeted subsidies, Mudra, Jan Dhan Yojana, Swachh Bharat Yojana, startups, and all that which is at the core of the GNH index. The new concept has been floated by none other than the happy Bhutanese people who are our neighbors. In the end, I have some suggestions for the Honorable Finance Minister. The technology used in the Revenue Department needs upgradation, and with amendments, the new technology will make the system more transparent and fast. Right now, the digital technology used by the officers of revenue departments seems outdated and is 10 years behind. Moreover, there should be a single, only one website for all the income tax departments related websites. Presently, it is www.tdscpc.gov.in for filing the TDS returns and other transactions related to TDS. And there is another one which is www.tin.nsdl.com for issuing a new PAN or TN cards. Sir, they should all be merged and it should be one website. I suggest that all these websites, if merged, that would handle the income tax full department in a better way. Sir, I have another few suggestions. I'll just...
Yes, yes.
Some litigations
I am not stopping you.
crop up due to law drafting interpretations. CBDT should be directed to issue timely clarifications with suitable examples to make it clear. This would lessen disputes arising regarding interpretations. And there are problems about interpretations. Number 3, more accountability needs to be fixed of government employees so that disposal is made time-bound and would minimize litigation. By early disposal of appeals and references, repetitive additions can be avoided, resulting into unnecessarily harassing the public and the creations of an outstanding tax demands. 4, there is an issue of tax deducted at source TDS compliance and filing of quarterly returns, issue of forms of 16A for each quarter. You're getting it with a lot of difficulty. There are issues. Number 5, there are issues in systems for challan, PAN matching, which needs to be streamlined. 60% of the problems here is mismatching bank information and IT records. Presently, large amounts of all old demands are being created because of mismatched bank information and IT records on account of digitization of old income tax records. And lastly, the Central Processing Center, the CPC at Bangalore, needs to be equipped with professionals. They need to reply and rectify the queries and put to them through the systems in time. When a query comes, it needs to be filtered, and errors and mistakes need to be corrected, identified, and solutions should be given by CPC, which is not being done as they are manned by not skilled people and professionals. With these words, I support the Finance Bill 2016 and the Appropriation Bill. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.